It has become clear that bioenergy is a rising star in the Swedish energy mix of fuel with lower impact on climate change. Today's interview is with Gustav Melin, CEO of the Swedish Bioenergy Association. Welcome, Gustav.
Thank you very much. The best thing today is that we got yesterday the figures from the Swedish Energy Agency, which shows that Sweden surpassed the goal for 2020 already in 2012. So last year we had 51% renewable energy. More than half of the energy is renewable, and the 2020 goal is 50%. So that's very good.
So your scenarios for the future when we look at Sweden?
I mean, the development will continue. We have almost taken away all the fossil oil in heating sector. There is still some in the industry that will be replaced in the coming years. But then we have done all the heating, so we are into electricity partly, and then the transportation sector is the next movement or the next big step or the challenge even to handle. In 1991, when we introduced the carbon dioxide tax, then oil was big in district heating, and with the tax we have phased out the oil, and we are able to do the same thing in the transportation sector. Biofuels will be cheaper than using oil.
So when you say biofuel, what sort of biofuel do you talk about?
We talk about ethanol, biodiesels and biogas, but I mean there are different options, and so I think they will have to compete with each other to find out which biofuel that will be the most efficient. We have both ethanol from sugarcane, for example, that we import. We have ethanol from wheat production that also produce protein for fodder and so on in that plant. But we expect to develop advanced biofuels from cellulose from Swedish forests. We believe that can be big. It will depend on the cost and the development of the industry, then how they are able to decrease costs. But we believe that it's possible to do, especially when you do energy combine with pulp production, pulp and paper, energy, maybe use the heat and produce electricity, but also a part of the energy combined then can produce biofuels.
So your conclusion is that we in Sweden will see a decreased use of fossil fuel in the transport sector in the coming years?
Yeah, absolutely. But it's not only because of the biofuels. It's partly also because of electricity and hybrids in the transport, and also because of more energy efficient engines. I think for the EU it would definitely be a common introduction of the carbon dioxide tax. It makes everyone move a lot easier. If we look at the European view, we have last year we had 11 million hectares that is set aside, that is unused. So there is a lot of land to produce more food on or energy if needed. But I see that this is the similar situation in every country actually globally. One problem is that the yields and the production in many fields are too low. Africa is still on an average on just about 1.4 tons of grain per hectare. That's the same level as Sweden was in 1870, 150 years ago, and Brazil was at that level 50 years ago, but today they are around close to 4 tons per hectare, and in the Western Europe we are about 7 tons per hectare at the moment. And absolutely Africa is able to be on the same level as Europe, or maybe absolutely even more. I mean, the production capacity in Africa is higher than in Europe, so they would be able to produce more than 7 tons.